Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Pursuit of the Black Kestrel, our bi-weekly Pathfinder, second edition game. I run too much D&D for this. Thank you for joining us here today. We're going to get started in a second. We'll go through our announcements and introductions and stuff. My name is Sean. I run this game, run other things on this channel. We have all these fine fools who I'll let introduce themselves. I don't know how order everyone is in the overlay. So, Savannah, you go first.
I can tell you if you want because I'm looking at it.
Go for it.
It's me. I get to go first.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Savannah. They call me Savvy here on the high seas of the internet. I'm at Savvy Seaworth on Twitter and Instagram and everything else pretty much. And I pretty much exist exclusively here on game nights right now. I run a couple of games on the channel every other Thursday and every other Sunday off from this game. They are Tales from the Loop and Monster of the Week, so if you like that kind of thing, come hang out with us. Almost all of these people are in one of those games, and RJ's character shows up sometimes in one of them, so it's basically like you're there. Just very quiet. That's really it. Oh, I'll go ahead and say this because I haven't done it in a while. I have a surprise day off of work tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing some daytime streaming. Probably going to play Nancy Drew and do some actual good for her 90th anniversary. So I'll tweet about it. Come hang out with me tomorrow. Yeah, that's me.
I have it up now. So, Alex.
Hello, I'm Alex, OMG It's Some Guy on the interwebs. Yeah, I'm pretty much just here in the vast majority of our games, not all of them, but most. And yeah, that's it. I don't got as much to say.
Barry.
Oh, I'm Dermot Barry. I can be found here a fair bit now because they kidnapped me. And every second week, I run. It was Ghost of Salt Marsh, but it kind of varied to just based around Ghost of Salt Marsh. My players went off track.
As they do. RJ.
Hey everybody, I'm RJ here, but you can catch me at RJS22 on Twitter and Twitch, and also over the Indoor Adventures channel on Mondays and Tuesdays.
And last up, LB.
Hi, I'm LB Hackemup. You can find me at LB Hackemup on the Twitters. I'm on Indoors channel too on Mondays and Tuesdays. And then at the end of February, I'm starting in a game with Jordan with the PH and Nerd Immersion on Nerd Immersion's channel, where I get to play a tiefling that is the daughter of another character of mine. So that'll be fun. Every other Friday, I'm on Dammit Bear's channel. Every other Sunday, I'm here now or at 4.
Nice. And so our schedule, we do lots of other fun stuff throughout the week that some people mentioned and alluded to. We've got alternating from this Sunday. So this next coming Sunday, we'll have Slang 101, our Monster of the Week ongoing game that Savannah runs. This Wednesday, we will have Tidefall, D&D 5th edition campaign. At 8 o'clock Eastern time. And then I don't think we have anything this Thursday because we do alternating Thursdays. We have Tales from the Loop that Savannah also runs. That is, we had our first session of which last week. So you can check that out on YouTube sometime soon or on our VODs if you're a subscriber. But that we had our first session of that. So it's definitely a good time to get in to watch that. Bunch of kids trying to survive in small town in Alabama
In 1985.
In 1985,
That's contextually important.
That's kind of the important part. And
except without a lot of the stuff that made 1985 gross.
Yeah, just Bruce Springsteen, Madonna,
we had a blockbuster.
I'll see if anybody
Way
else is gonna
before
pick it
Nirvana,
up.
there was.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
And then the other game that I run on Saturdays, we just had our epilogue of Saturday Night Sarthia yesterday, where we did a kind of talked about the characters and did some wrap up, and then they fought a Mecha Tarask, which was exciting. And then this coming Saturday, we're going to have the first session of Saturday Night's Thunderball, which is going to be a. Thank you. They're contractually obligated to do at least one echo every time I say the word Thunderball.
Thunderball.
Thank you.
I was leaving it open for someone else.
So we'll be following a bunch of D&D. It's D&D 5th edition again. A bunch of characters playing in this sporting league set in Zarthia again. And it's going to be wild. It's a game that we just made up. So I have no idea how it's going to go. But tune in for that this Saturday at 3 Eastern time. But right now, we're playing Pathfinder, or at least trying to. If you joined us for our last session, we followed the rules the best we could, and we're just going to keep on powering through.
Some of us are playing Pathfinder. Some of us don't know what we're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just banking on you guys to tell me what to do. Recapping, though, from our last session, your merry crew here. We don't really have like a name, or you guys haven't really united yet against a common foe. But this group of individuals has set out on a journey aboard the Pharos, a sky ship in this blighted world of Vathis. You have been tasked by the Duke of this country to seek out this the last remains, or the resting place, of the Black Kestrel, another airship of pirate persuasion that disappeared many years ago, and had in its holds a very valuable item, a gemstone known as the Heart of Death. Priceless, worth the value of most kingdoms. But you have been hired for one reason or another as crew members on the Pharos to help in this expedition. You boarded, you met your captain, were given your mission from Captain Leon, and you set off. You embarked on your journey. You met a little bit of rough sailing along the way, had some introductions, fought some bug monsters in a fog storm, and became closer as friends, I assume. I don't know. There was blood, there was weird stuff, arguing, lots of interesting things, and a lot of people that seem to really not like the nobility in this country. Hashtag fucking nobles. And that is where we are going to sort of pick up our session here today, which is, we're going to skip forward a little bit, a couple of days after those events. You have been on board the Pharos, meeting some of the crew, engaging with them, and conducting some of your preparations for the coming expedition. A couple of things that I'll preemptively let you know that kind of happened along this time. I know that I gotta get up my notes to remember all of your characters' names. Zari, you had previously asked the captain to see her the journal that is sort of the guide post for this expedition. You have not yet had this opportunity. She is, you might have asked a couple of times, and she's kind of been putting it off, telling you like tomorrow, the day after, we'll get to it once we get to port. And it's just kind of like kicking the can down the road. Xander, you wanted to start working on you wanted to salvage some of the bug parts from
Well, the big thing which almost killed me, I wanted to take some of its carapace armor because I know Anais wanted to make jewelry, I think, out of it. And I wanted to make like a little armor for Crow.
For Crow. Okay. So you have a couple of days. We can use the crafting mechanics here if we want to try to do that. If Anais is interested in helping, wants to help with it. Yeah.
Sure.
So let's just go ahead and knock that out because that's a simple roll. The rules for crafting is that you just have to have you have to have the materials, which I'll say you do. This is probably going to be as simple. We're going to kind of put this as like the realm of like leather armor. So it's just going to be the +1 to whatever the AC of Crow currently is. You have the tools. Do you have crafting tools or supplies? Either one of you?
What a great question you've just asked me.
I have an adventurer's pack.
That probably wouldn't help.
I do not.
I have a
Do not.
sheath.
Hey, me too.
Okay. Those probably won't help with this. So that's actually, you do have to have the appropriate tools or a workshop to do this. There is like a shipwright on board that handles, the woodworking on the ship, but nothing really for like leather working.
Well, I'll add that to my shopping list at Slums.
Yeah. So we'll hold off on that then. So once you get that, you can begin the process. It's a couple of days that it'll take to craft this leather, but you have retained that. You have your carapace that you're going to use. So I'll open it. Those were the two things that I knew were going to come up. Was there anything else that you guys were doing during this like couple of days? Or we can just push forward to you guys arriving in port.
Just Zari had those blood items that she was dealing with, and that's all.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get to that with the blood and that. Yeah. Anything else?
Oh, wait, I had something I wanted to do.
Okay.
At some point when, like, during the day, when everyone else is occupied and away from the place where we sleep, I want to just go through Zari's stuff.
Okay. So you want to? I guess she does have the kind of isolated
She has that curtain.
area.
Yeah.
So that
Just
does
like,
make things easier.
I don't want to be like, it's intrusive. I don't want to be super intrusive, but
I mean it's intrusive no matter how you slice it.
Got back there. I don't want to like destroy anything.
Okay.
Obviously.
I guess that would be less intrusive. Go ahead and go ahead and we'll just do a stealth check.
Okay.
So it's not too hard for you to figure out when Zari is and is not. I think in their room. What is so you go and roll that,
Okay.
and Zari, I need to determine your perception DC,
Okay.
which is your perception score,
Mhm.
or whatever your modifier is for it, plus 10.
Okay. There is no perception,
Okay, you're not trained in perception.
or I don't
No,
have
perception's all the way to the right.
Yeah.
Oh.
To the right of skills.
Oh, I see. 15 would be the total amount.
Good.
Okay.
I rolled like shit, but 16.
16.
For
Nailed
stealth.
it. You got it.
Pretty close. All right. So
I
that's
just wanna,
enough to
like,
beat
poke around a little bit.
Sure.
her perception DC, which I'm mostly going to kind of flavor in this instance as whether or not she realizes that you were rooting through her stuff.
Before I
so.
go in, I want to put on this pair of gloves that I have, so if I touch anything, I haven't actually touched it. Because she does, like,
Sure.
blood magic and stuff. I don't know what she can do.
You don't know what I do.
Yeah, you put on your gloves for sanitation purposes, and when you know pretty much the crew's routine. I think after being on the ship a day or two, you're pretty skilled at learning the routines of people, making your marks, and then finding the right time to strike. So you find a time when it's kind of between shifts. Some of the it's probably earlier in the morning. Zari's already gotten up and is doing whatever she is doing today. Sunbathing. That sounds appropriate on a ship. I'm sure much to the chagrin of the sailors doing their jobs aboard above deck. And while some of the crew is getting their meal and preparing to head off to sleep down here in the galley, and the rest are heading above deck, you sneak into Zari's quarters. And begin to pilfer through Zari's belongings.
Gently.
I guess I will open this up to you, Elby, and what does she see? Just like out in the open, what is scattered around?
So I think it would just be a smattering of like different clothings and probably a couple books. Maybe some on etiquette. But there are some that are in a language I'm not certain that you would understand. I'm gonna look at my character and see if I added my language proficiencies, which I might have. Oh yeah. But it doesn't seem like a nice language. I guess I'll give it to that. There's symbolism in there that seems less than divine, I should say. There is a I guess if you go through her bag, she doesn't really have a ton of stuff. She has like caltrops and stuff, like an adventuring backpack, but in general it's the only thing of note that she's carrying besides like random jewelry is like a chalice that seems really nice. Pure gold. It's pretty clean. Like, seems to be the most cared for thing in her stash. Like, it's wrapped really nicely. Okay, that's about it. She doesn't have a ton of stuff. She is on a trip.
she backed light. Can I? Is there a roll I can do to see like what's going on with these books?
So that's what I was going to ask. If there was anything, because you have a limited amount of time, I think you're going to focus on one thing once you kind of take all this in.
Yeah.
So you're going to focus on the books. It's trying to make. What are you trying to see? Like, if you understand like the symbolism, or
it's something like that. Yeah, because I don't know. Probably don't understand the language, but any of like these like any kind of like, because I'm trained in Arcana and Occultism.
Okay.
Or I guess I could just roll Society and see if I understand the etiquette rules.
That's up to you. I'd say Occultism is probably the closest.
Okay, I try. Golly. Well, 9.
Okay.
I'm rolling so badly.
Here's what I think you do. You do not immediately identify whatever this symbol is. It's not one you're familiar with. You know it probably has some sort of occult meaning to it. Somewhat like religious. The nature of it, I don't think you really understand beyond that. I imagine that you take a small sketch of it and the symbol, just for future identification.
I do.
But that's all you're able to gather in that time. Okay.
Okay, put everything back where I found it.
All right, and you slink out. And with your stealth check from before, I think Zarya is none the wiser. So, if there is nothing else, then after the next 3 days of travel, I'm just going to read the thing I had written. The low thrum of canvas, flapping against the crisp morning air, rises to a steady beating as the wind picks up. Or sorry, that is not the one I need to read. Hold on. I had the thing from last week open. The Pharos cuts through the high fog cover as Captain Leon barks orders to the crew. The ship lurches as the sails are cut to half-mast. A staggering daylight glares over the horizon as the ship angles towards the setting sun. Then, shadows pierce the light, and a glooming spire seems to erupt from the rolling fog. The narrow rock formation seems alien in an ocean of purple fog, specked with torchlight of the several hundred ramshackled structures seemingly glued to its face. The buildings, a mix of wood and carved stone, jut out at impossible angles, threatening to break off and topple down into the abyss below. Orbiting the spire, at its pinnacle, you see several dozen ships, tethered to the central dock. Long lines of rope bridges, drooping between the ships and their fragile hold on solid ground, like a flock of children dancing around a maypole. Captain Leon calls out, "Welcome to Port Predatus," as the ship gently drifts up towards this dock, and within a few minutes, one of these bridges is unraveled and latched onto the side of the airship that you are currently occupying onto the Pharos. And as the ship kind of comes to a rest and the sails are drawn up, Captain Leon approaches or gathers the group of you, the chosen few of the Duke. Says, "All right now, it's getting a bit late, so I'm not sure how much business you'll get through today, but I suppose you're going to want to start looking around. Our goal here, and I'm going to stay with the ship, make sure the crew stays in order, but you've all been hired for this reason. We need to find this person here." He looks through, pulls out a scrap of paper from their jacket and unfolds it. She says, "Goes by the name of Istus. I don't know much about them other than that. They're supposedly in charge of this town. Now, the people that you're going to encounter here aren't the most savory types. Pirates, smugglers, and the like. We should fit in fairly well. I've got a few roughnecks around here. But you should do the same. Try not to stick out too much." And she gives a knowing eye in Zari's direction. "Keep a low profile. Don't get into any trouble. And see if you can find this person and see what they know. Allegedly, based on the journal, they might have some information to the last location of the Black Kestrel."
You got it,
Wonderful,
Captain.
thank you.
Good luck. Don't get stabbed in an alleyway.
No promises. Wait, you said stabbed or do the stabbing? And then Sammy
Either, if you can help it.
Only in an alleyway. You can do it in the tavern, main streets.
All things considered, tavern would be good because plenty of alcohol on hand to disinfect wounds.
I'm positive
tell
that's
me-
all you use it for.
I mean, no, but it is handy. Would be better to not use my own personal supply, yes?
Can you tell me about the social structure of this town? What's the
Ah.
hierarchy
It's not-
like?
That is
There-
not.
There really isn't one. It's kind of known for its lawlessness. The mayor, the last I heard, when this was initially established as an outpost for some Vathan military force, the Navy, I assume, they didn't last long. Got overrun by pirates, and then, yeah.
So
Since
no
then-
one is in control of this town at all.
Not as far as I'm aware, other than this person apparently holds a level of respect here. I'm not exactly sure why. Like I said, they don't really run in the same. We tend to keep our dealings above board the most we can.
All right.
So,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
No.
She pulls out her pipe and begins to light it desperately against the growing breeze and says, "All right then, get to work." And she heads back towards her cabins.
Well,
Wow.
this should be fun.
Zara, can you please just not talk?
Well, how are we supposed to get anything done?
Let the others do the talk. Please.
Fine, I shall be the silent one in the back.
What am I gonna do then?
Protect her. Make sure she doesn't talk.
Yeah. Tavern? Anyone?
Yes, tavern is always a good idea. And I don't know if this is a good time to roll it, but when I leveled up, I learned pirate lore. So
Yeah.
could I maybe try rolling that to see if I can know something about
Know something about the town?
the town or how whoever's in charge.
Yeah, I will definitely allow that, and then we'll have to figure out how it is, if you roll well enough, how it is you know this information.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Click. That's an 18.
Okay. I was going to set this around like a 15 or so I think that is perfectly reasonable. Okay. How then let's preemptively start by, how do you think you know this information? How do you think you know anything about this town?
Yeah, so I don't know how much Simon actually knows about this town specifically, other than, it's probably at least somewhat infamous for being lawless, but as part of his religious calling, he has learned a bit about the ways of piracy. It's, taking the adventuring aspect of his deity's beliefs to an unhealthy degree, and so has been studying it a bit, mostly collecting stories, and so has maybe a bit of an idea of, okay, sure, it's chaos here, but there's at least some organization to the chaos. Those who are higher up the social rung than the others have staked their claims in the town, and figuring out how to identify those markers.
Okay. Yeah, I do like the idea of identifying pirates as sort of the ultimate partiers to an unhealthy extreme. So here's what I'll give you here then is that maybe at some point during your time preaching or proselytizing, you have maybe at some point encountered some people that were in the pirating business. Maybe you converted them to your faith and told them to kind of tone it down a bit, not seeking so much like hedonism and full sort of seeking their every whim, but you learned maybe a few things about Port Predatus. Most of it's already been said: haven for smugglers and pirates, and kind of a stopping point in this area of the world. Most of what the captain told you checks out. You do know that there is a rather powerful group that does actually kind of oversee the running of like the port itself, and some of like the maybe not necessarily the infrastructure of it, but takes their cut of everything that comes through here. Kind of deals in information and trading. They are referred to as the Spiders. And you know that they are pretty infamous around here and not a group that you'd want to tangle in or with. Beyond that, I think you know a little more basically like the do's and don'ts in this town. We won't get into all that, but I'll assume that you understand some of the social elements of not necessarily ending up a place that you don't belong.
All right, follow my lead. I have a bit of an idea of where to start with this. Try not to piss anyone off too much, though someone will be pissed off just by us being here, so... Oh, and the people running this port are known as the Spiders. Try not to drop the name too much, as that will probably bring us unwanted attention this early in our investigation.
Noted.
Can I try and keep an eye out for trouble?
Okay. Is there an action that you want to take for that, or are you just generally kind of? How do you see yourself doing this, or what is the? Are you more like inciting, trying to gain some ideas, like how the people that are in your immediate area are kind of behaving towards you?
I think it would just end up being a perception, but to flavor it, it would be like, because he does do hunting, just keep an eye out for anything out of the ordinary.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to decide whether this is like a sense motive or like a perception thing.
I don't know. It's just more keep an eye out for anything that seems weird for here.
Okay. Yeah. You make a perception check.
Or danger.
Quick cue while this is going on. How is Zari dressed?
That is a good question.
I was given clothing, yes.
I did ask the captain.
I am dressed like a pirate, however, I do not walk like a pirate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's only an 11. What is with Rosemary hates us today?
I don't know, it was fine with me.
Okay, so you all look the part at least. You tried to kind of grunge up a bit, those of you that needed to. And you all disembark. You head off across this wooden bridge, and you can see the city descending down beneath you along, kind of wrapping around this spire until you reach this the central dock. And there are a series of elevators that lift down or descend down into the lower sections of the city. I don't know. Do you see yourselves more just asking directions or walking around until you find a good place?
Would I have been here before with the crew at some point?
I think the Pharaohs has never been here. The crew has never. So whether you think you might have come here at some point beforehand, but during your time with the Pharaohs, you've never been here.
Okay.
I'm assuming I wouldn't have come here as a ranger.
I don't know what kind of stuff you got up to, and
I really want to explore.
Is there like a big map that says you are here, and then like mall map?
yeah. There's a big
like a theme park.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go to the Mrs. Fields. Come on.
Yeah.
Lazy River.
No, but I do think there are probably some poorly scratched like signposts pointing like at odd angles, following some of these switchback paths that lead like between. And again, everything here feels like you are worried it was going to break out from underneath you with each step. It is not a very safe feeling place. But there are a couple of places that are marked. There's Hangman Square. Is one of the places that is marked on this signpost. It looks a bit older and kind of weathered away, like it's a place that's been here for a while. There is I think the other one that would be a little bit newer, that is marking kind of the other direction, is Steel Runner's Transport. That one seems like it has been recently tacked on and is a little bit easier to read than the other. And then there is a third sign that has something on it that looks like it was scratched out. And you can no longer read what's on it. Pointing in a third direction.
Well, should we
really
head towards the
wanna go
square?
that
Is perhaps Hangman Square to start? I imagine something interesting is in that third direction, but let's get the lay of the land a bit first, yes?
Agreed.
Okay. You follow the path along the catwalks here, and then down a series of stairs that kind of circle down below, and past some ruined kind of hovels and lean-tos. You see the denizens giving you kind of a wide berth. Some of them seem to look twice in your direction. You see, I think, based on how she's carrying herself, I think Zari gets some second looks. But you've got a few of you look pretty, I think you look the part a little bit more than others and carry yourselves like you belong here. And I don't think anyone gives you immediately any grief, at least not yet. The sun has almost entirely set, and it's just this purple haze on the horizon, a little bit of light coming through. Most of the light that you have now is just these torches that are lit and braziers that are lit on almost every walkway. And you arrive in a more level portion of the city, which you would assume is probably Hangman Square, considering at the center of this cleared out area is a set of gallows. They don't look like they've been used for some time, but they are still standing there as some sort of testament to some sort of law and order that once existed here. However, you're immediately confronted by a loud racket, as there are a few buildings and kind of lean-tos and shanties scattered around this square, but there's one much larger building on the far side, which is streaking out all of the light into this area, kind of illuminating the gallows. Three-storied building, and you can see some courtesans, they appear to be, kind of leaning off of balconies. You hear music coming from inside. You see some rather drunken-looking individuals already, even in this early evening, kind of stumbling out of the building and into the mud. And above the doorway is kind of hanging off of the porch is a sign in this big kind of crimson red and gold embroidered font that says "The Lord's Daughter."
Huh.
Which lord, I wonder?
By the look of the overhang, several. How quaint.
Shall we?
Nobody get into any trouble, please.
I don't look at Zari and Anais as you say that.
Brother,
While
I'm
probably
never getting into
thinking it's
trouble.
going to be one of us three.
You think so little of us.
Just so you know, Crow would be on my shoulder, pretending to be a parrot.
The little black pseudo dragon perched on
It's
your
going to
shoulder.
be, yep, like a parrot would, because pirate
Okay.
life.
Sure.
But I was trying to blend in like all these commoners. I'm not as bad as my sister, but I'm not as good as actual commoners in blending in.
Is this an inn or just a brothel?
Hard to tell from the outside. There's 3 stories to it. It's a rather big building. You don't see any signs indicating that it is an inn. It just says "The Lord's Daughter" from the exterior, but it may have rooms. Only one way to find out.
Gentlemen,
Who's doing the talking?
Zari crosses her arms in the back of the group.
I'll cover her mouth just so she doesn't.
Samek shakes his head and walks towards the door.
I motion to my brother. Can we follow?
Okay.
All right. You, the five of you, Head and Crow, head into the building, and you're confronted by that pungent smell of probably gallons and gallons of spilled rum and ale over the years that have not been properly cleaned, but is then overrun by this intense sort of perfume smell that also seems to just ooze from the walls. There are dozens of tables and kind of draped in silks and finery, but everything's kind of tarnished and a little bit dirty. Nothing in here looks clean. And there are dozens of what you would probably label as pirates sitting at the tables playing cards and knife games and are drinking and carousing. There's a bar on the far side, and there are serving men and women that are currently running around from tables, kind of slamming down in probably a less polite way than most taverns that or inns that you'd be used to. Large tankards and glasses onto the in front of the patrons. So, who's carousing? Who's taking the lead? Who do you want to introduce you, speak to? Or does someone just walk in and demand a manager?
Gonna find a table for us to like reconvene at, so people can scatter and then come back.
Okay. You do find a table near the corner where there is a small, arrangement playing, a couple of musicians in the corner, kind of providing some mildly off-tune music for the room, and you find a corner near there where there's a table kind of shoved up against a wall where the five of you can sit at.
Zari doesn't sit down.
I'll
She just
position
stands.
with the wall to my back because can't be attacked from behind.
Sure.
I start
Sure.
looking around for someone who looks like they're in charge of something.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll for that.
Someone
I
who
think
looks like
just-
they probably handle some of the money or something.
You look around, you see some of the servers. You do see one, and I'll point out that you see people of a variety of different ancestries. Here there are humans and dwarves and halflings and gnomes. Also some bugbears, some drow, some goblins, and specifically behind the bar currently is one goblin woman with gray hair kind of pulled back into a ponytail. It's rather scraggly, kind of frizzy around the back, just kind of like puffs out, sort of haloing their head. And they're pretty well dressed for most of the serving staff, and they are currently laughing with some of the sailors that are sitting at the bar. And after watching them for a few moments, you get the impression that they run this place.
I'll be back. I'm gonna go and not interrupt, but just kind of sit at the bar and wait.
Okay. You sit there for a few moments, and eventually this the goblin turns to you, and she says, "What you want?"
Ale, I suppose.
All right, one moment. And she turns back and fills up a tanker and then slams it down in front of you and says, oh, geez, I haven't even thought about money in this game yet. Is
First
copper a
one's
thing?
free. Yes.
Copper's a thing?
Yes.
Copper's a
Okay. Is it copper, gold, silver, gold, same as like
It's
the
copper, silver, gold,
D&D?
platinum.
Sure.
Yes.
She says, 5 copper.
I hand her a silver.
Thank you. I'll keep them coming.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
All right.
Look
I
like
can't
someone-
promise an answer, but
Well, that's all right. You just, look as if you know your way around the place.
I've been here longer than anyone. If anyone knows something around here, it's probably me.
I have great respect for someone as wise as you, I'm sure. I'm looking for someone named Istis.
Istis. Never heard of him.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Would you have heard of them for a few more silver?
No, I need to go into the checks here again. 1 second. I guess this would be diplomacy. Kind of sounds like diplomacy.
Maybe this one will be better than my other ones. Heck yeah. 21.
21. Okay. Yeah, she leans in, she says,
Darling, I don't think there's really enough money for me to get into something like this. I'm going to assume that you probably don't know what you're asking about. And advise you to go back to your table, have your drink, and enjoy your evening.
All you have to do is point me in the right direction. I don't even know your name for you to be involved in my trouble. As far as I'm concerned, I don't need to.
She says, the person you're asking about is very important around here.
I'm acutely
Not someone
aware.
that you talk about lightly.
I don't do anything lightly.
What business do you have with them anyway? What makes this so important to you?
I thought you didn't want to get involved.
I'd like to know before I send you to your death.
A business proposition involving quite a lot of money. Maybe even enough to get you to give me some information.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. I don't know how to find them directly. Very few people do. But, there are some people I can point you in the direction of.
she kind of looks around and she looks over to a table on the opposite side of the room from where your companions are currently sitting. And there you see 3 drow sitting at that table. And she says,
You see them sitting over there? Ones that kind of have the sign hanging around their neck saying not to be fucked with. If you're keen on talking to Istis and you want to know more about them, they're the ones you're going to want to talk to. Again, don't say I didn't warn you.
You're a gem, truly.
She pockets the silver and she says,
If you need any more drinks before you die, just let me know.
Many thanks. I take my drink. I go back to the table.
Did you not get any for the rest of us?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you talking now? No, you can buy your own drinks. I probably will not be finishing this one. That's who we need to talk to. And I will point them out.
When you say talk, do you mean like discuss or? And Samek smashes a hand into his fist into his hand, like talk.
Well, based on how difficult it was to get the proprietor of this establishment to even point them out to me, it could very well come to that.
Did you subtly point them out, or did you? Because I have a picture of Zari would be like, who's them?
It was very subtle.
I'd be like, make sure my sister doesn't point drastically.
I think I more just like would have like described them and said where they were sitting.
It's like my 6 o'clock cranky looking people. So are we gonna talk, or like Sammy said, talk, or do we want to get them outside?
Hey, listen, Cap said not to start any trouble, so
In alleyways. Don't get stabbed or stabbed in an alleyway.
He
We are
meant
not
in
in an
general, Zandy.
Isn't it a she? I thought Captain was a she.
Whatever.
I was just gonna go spill a beverage on him.
good luck with that.
We could just
Are
ask.
you guys gonna protect me?
Might
No.
I suggest, evening is still young. Let us get some drinks so we do not look inconspicuous. Keep a subtle eye on them. Does anyone have a game we can play so we're not just sitting here, not talking and drinking?
Ever play Knucklebones?
Played it a time or two, yes.
What is that?
It's a dice game, miss.
Wonderful.
Didn't just learn last time about gambling with my sister.
I'm going to go get drinks. Would anyone else like one?
Always.
Samek will stand and accompany her.
Thank God.
So the two of you head over to the bar to get some more drinks. You do hear the some of the patrons refer to the goblin behind the bar as Brass. Gather that's her name.
Mm-hmm.
But you go get some drink. I don't know if there's anything. If you're just going up there to get drinks, if you're trying to pry anymore.
I'm not trying to pry anything from her.
Okay.
How close is the bar to those drow?
It's kind of at the halfway point across the room, so
Okay.
you're
So I wouldn't be able to
50%
overhear
closer to
anything.
no, you gather, and as loud as things are in here, you'd probably have to be at like the table next to them to hear them.
Cool. I will ask at the bar how, because I don't know about in this world, if magic's okay in this town. Like, do people use magic openly, or have I seen it?
Let's see. So I don't think magic is a very common thing in this world. Like people with powers and abilities and things like that. I think it's a little bit more uncommon. Based on just a general social norm, people tend to not just want magic just like being thrown around
Yeah.
willy-nilly in places, but magic of convenience. I don't think people would necessarily freak out and be like, "You have magic powers, run away"
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, not against the law or anything.
No. You don't gather much things are against the law in this place. So yeah, I think it just depends on what you would be doing.
Very cool. I'll get drinks for the 4 of us. I'll probably just leave a gold because I don't think Zari has change. She doesn't want change, so she just leaves a gold. And
I'm gonna
Oh,
scoop the
thank you.
gold and just pay appropriately.
I don't have anything smaller than 100. I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I'll take your change.
Okay, so you start to slide the gold across, and Savik, you sort of surreptitiously put the 4 drinks, like 2 silver worth.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just a banana. How much can it cost? $10?
On the way back to the table, was there a reason for that?
Crowd like this, they see something extra shiny, they might come after you. So, best to pay low, or use your lowest coin.
That is my lowest coin.
There's something lower than gold?
Fucking nobles.
I actually
We
don't
have
even
so
know how
much
much
to
gold
learn
we have.
about this.
Oh goodness.
I don't have.
Yeah, Xander would probably just spend that whole time staring at the table we're not meant to be staring at.
I like how you're worried about me.
Look, I'm
Okay.
good. I'm good out in the wild around people. Not that great. If it's an animal, you got to keep an eye on it.
If I notice him doing this, I'm gonna try to stop it.
Same.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that's difficult to notice.
This
and
will be the
stare.
basic conversation, yeah. And so, I'm listening, just constantly.
Yeah,
I
as you
keep
guys
pointing-
are,
I
because you're
keep
playing
pointing
dice
out-
right now. So
Interesting stuff in the room to Xander to try to get him to look anywhere else.
There's a quick look. Yeah, that's cool. Soon it's just like, yeah, sweet. You know, when you're like, Mom, watch me. She's like, yes, very good, very good. Until my sister comes back and they're talking about smaller currency than gold pieces.
I'm just looking across the table at Simon like, oh my god, what? Who are these people?
I am going to. I think I'm going to use the message cantrip to essentially whisper right in Xander's ear as I'm taking a drink, and just be like, the more you look at them, the more likely they are to come over and stab us and your sister. So stop looking at them all the time. Glances are okay. And like in 5th edition, you can either as a reaction on your turn or a free action on their next turn, you can respond.
And I'll be like, please don't come over here.
What are we expecting to get out of these gentlemen? The location?
That's my understanding. Yes.
Would I have any idea based on my pirate lore from earlier? Like, would they be go-betweens? Like, would they maybe take us to Istis, or they pass us on to the next person? And it's
with a criminal organization like this, it's a little different than piracy. You're gathering this is, I would say this doesn't really fall under like the pirate lore so much.
Sure.
But general understanding is that they probably have some connections. I mean, it kind of depends on who they are, whether they
Mhm.
might have direct connections and know who Istis is, or
Yep. Sure.
Would this fall under society?
Because both my sister and I are proficient in society. Because
that is true.
am I.
Yeah, actually, this might
Just in
fall
case.
more into
the
yeah.
3 troublemakers.
this might fall into more of a society check, because I think this is more of like a criminal organization that works within society instead of necessarily working like
Yeah.
I don't
There's a
think I need
hierarchy
firstly
to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas
Yeah.
piracy is kind of like
Yeah.
anti-establishment kind of.
Does
I don't
I
know.
rolled
anyone have a
20.
plan?
20. Is anybody else rolling, or was it just
Oh, I
Sorry.
will. Probably won't roll
If
that
somebody doesn't inform Xander of a plan, if one of them looks over at him, he's just going to be like Neo gesturing, like,
No.
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 high. No, we all stop him. I rolled a 24.
We wait
24,
until
okay.
they're finished drinking, and then we send the 2 stealthiest people after them.
that is
I could follow them.
So it'll be
So-
Anais and Simon. Sorry.
Simon's not
Are you
stealthy.
just assuming Simon is good at sneaking because he's
Small.
Little.
Sorry, Simon.
No, you got to sneak into the frat house after hours. You know,
Oh, it's because of all his party
partying.
How
points.
sneaky is everyone, though? Like, we probably should have discussed how
Rather
sneaky.
Very. So,
So
sneak.
lower. Please.
Yes. So the 20 and the 24, I think those are both sufficient to understand. With a lot of organizations like this, the people that are like in the taverns, on the streets and stuff, most of them are probably like low-level lackeys, especially with something that's probably like as you've gotten the impression, you've been told that they some of the groups here kind of trade in secrets and information. There's probably a lot of secrecy and a lot of like compartmentalization within a group like this. So unless one of them is like an officer in this group, they're probably all low level. So they might report to one person who then reports to the person in charge. But a lot of times there is some, if the leader is trying to maintain some sort of anonymity, low level employees won't necessarily know them directly.
Mm-hmm. Why don't we just trick them into thinking we're important people that need to speak to their lord? I mean, these guys aren't high society. I'm sorry, they aren't the cream of the crop in this group, right? They're on the streets.
I guess if you think we can
We're also
convince them
streets.
of that, but I would imagine they don't respect our sort of people the same way that a lot of people you're familiar with do.
Pirates? What sort of people? If we have goods that they can move, then we are useful to them. Yes?
If we can,
If we have information,
convince them we're pirates.
Do you want me to stand behind you and look really intimidating while you talk to them?
oh, I'm sorry, I can't talk to them. She looks over at her brother. I am not allowed to.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
you can stand behind me and look intimidating, whatever I'm doing.
Fine.
No?
Are
Would
we
we like to
all
do this,
going over there?
or would we like to just wait and follow them to a person who might
Or
actually be
again,
able
I could
to?
just gesture.
No, I think this is a situation where we approach them. That way, it gives them the feeling that they are in charge.
But we know they're not.
Well, we
Yeah.
know they're not, but that's the art of the discussion. We make them feel like they have the power and that they're really intelligent and attractive and all that. And really, they're not. And we have all the power. It's manipulation, brother. Manipulation.
She should really be doing the talking.
So all the times you came and spoke to me.
Samek's gonna stand, offer a hand to Anise.
Thank you, darling.
I'm a little confused.
Sorry? Shall we?
It's all right, brother. Just stand in the back and look pretty.
You walk.
I'll join her.
Okay, so just to get it straight, is everyone going over there, or it sounds like everyone's going over there?
No, I'll stay
Or
at
is
the
it just the
table
three
and
of you?
just keep an eye out, see if anyone looks
So
like
Simon,
they're listening in or doing something bad. Too.
Okay, so Simon and Xander kind of hanging back. The remaining three heading straight over to the table. Okay, the three of you approach. The three drow. It is two men and one woman sitting at the table, and they're all sitting kind of how Xander was, with their kind of backs to the wall, sitting on the far side of the table, having their drinks, kind of huddled together and having kind of muffled conversations over their glasses behind their hands. As you approach, though, they stop, and the three of them lean back, and one of the gentlemen leans forward. And as you walk up, before you even say anything, says,
I think you have the wrong table. You probably want to turn around and head back to yours.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
What do you want? That one over there has been looking our way this whole evening.
He's very rude. May we buy you a drink?
We have drinks.
I imagine not for long.
I think the woman starts to, I think she pulls out a knife from her belt and just starts kind of spinning it on the table in front of her, kind of menacingly. I mean, it's a dagger, so it's, only so menacing
Samek
to.
looks over to her and like crosses his arms, and she can hear the flex of leather.
Has to replace his leather armor every couple of weeks as he wears through it. Actually, let's do that. Let's make an intimidation check, Sam.
I'm going to use my intimidating glare feat, which replaces the vocal
Ooh.
component of intimidation with visual.
Okay.
+4. 21.
21. Okay. I think she keeps spinning the dagger. I think kind of pauses for a second and looks to one of the other drow that's sitting back. And they look over each other. The man who's been speaking to you, though, I can't think, smiles a bit broader and says, "Sit then."
Small curtsy.
What can I help you with?
We're looking for someone. And we've discovered that you're the important sort of people here that can take us where we need to go.
Maybe. Now, who might you all be then?
Travelers, mostly.
You can call me
Affiliated.
Zari.
Zari. Pleasure to meet you.
Anna.
I'm just the muscle. I don't have a name.
Sad life.
You can call me Anna, if you must.
Well, my name is Manos. That's Florence.
Gesturing to the other male and says,
And Ellie. Now that we've made our introductions, who are you looking for? I know many people in this town. I might be able to point you in the right direction.
Well, I think that since we're new in town, we wanted to speak to the higher ups, if you will. We have somewhat of a proposal for anyone who's interested in trade. And I understand that in a place like this and in society in general, it's hard to get an audience with someone. If you were to point us out to where he is, I'm sure that it would be very difficult for us to get in to see him, so perhaps we can deliver a message.
he leans back, retaining his smile, and says,
I can promise you that I'm the one in charge here.
Oh, I can tell.
So whatever business you have, I should be able to help.
Well, how do I know you have the coin to buy such goods?
Well, you sought me out, so I suppose you'll just have to see. What goods are you selling? What are you looking to trade?
I don't know, Anna. It doesn't seem like they are the ones in charge.
I think you're right. I'm not entirely convinced. I suppose we could just take our business elsewhere.
Indeed, there are other ports.
Many.
Can I make a deception check?
"Sure."
Am I helping?
What is helping?
Yeah. I was trying to remember if there's like an assistance.
Do you get additions, right?
There is aid.
Aid.
Yeah,
is
I
a-
just pulling it up. Yeah, you can give a +1 circumstance bonus to the assisted skill check. Okay. I think you have to make a check for it.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. DC is typically 20. Attempt a skill check or attack roll of a type dedicated, decided by the DM. Okay. Yeah, so you're trying to assist with this deception. You'd also make a deception check to assist with it.
Okay.
So both of you can roll.
God.
8.
Well,
14.
Oops. That's okay.
Can't you use a hero point for this stuff?
you could if you
Oh,
wanted to.
How do hero points work again?
You get 1 at the start of each session, and you can use it to re-roll the check.
I'll use mine now.
Sure.
This is kind of what I'm here for. Nope, not better. Not better at all.
Uh-oh.
Gonna break that off for the stream.
Oh yeah, it's a 9. I have +7.
Simon, we may be fighting.
I warned
Leans
you.
back and he says,
Then I suppose we weren't meant to make a deal then. You can leave.
Ooh. Did he just dismiss me?
"Oh yeah, he did."
Oh no.
As
Well-
that's happening, I'm gonna lean over to Xander, kind of getting a sense of what's happening over there, and just be like, I'm going to step away, see if I can distance myself from the group, and try and approach later on. I believe they have pegged you, so sorry about that. And so I'm just gonna kind of use
He's
his height to
bailing.
duck down and go find another table, probably try and join in on a card game.
If I saw them dismiss my sister, I'm gonna be fuck.
Yeah, so
You don't mess up, Aaron.
Does
Simon,
Zari
you
look
sort of-
visibly distressed?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like the literal red light flashes in her eyes.
Well, I'm gonna look sort of pointedly at her. Fine. Your loss. Enjoy your drinks.
Give me 1 second because I want to make sure that I'm. Oh.
So Simon, you kind of skulk off to a part. You find a couple of other sailors that are playing cards over in the corner and have some drinks.
And as I'm walking, I'm actually gonna shoot a message over to Anais. Shut up outside and
You
say.
just honk really loud.
Yeah.
Say shut up
Excuse
outside.
me! But I'm gonna message. I'm going to attempt to distance myself from the group, start making the rounds, eventually work my way through most of the bar, approach their table towards the end, see if I can make myself not as conspicuously with you all and try a different plan of attack.
Okay. Worst comes to worst, we should just leave and go with the following plan.
Wink.
Understood.
Wink, I say. Be careful.
Can I have him make a will save, please?
Oh god. Well,
Okay, you casting a spell?
Yes, I am.
I stop in the middle of my response and go, well.
It's just a verbal thing. Because I don't have to use somatic
Please be
components.
the verbal thing. Be excuse me.
No.
Pardon me.
I
Do
think
you even know
she'll
who I
say
am?
something. Oh, she'll say a word that sounds like a I guess you wouldn't know the language, but she'll say it sounds very sweet, like "Oh, honey," and then she'll say, you're really throwing away an opportunity here," something like that.
Okay. Will save. That is a 15.
Okay, hold on. My thing is 17.
Okay. What spell are you casting?
Charm.
Okay. What's the effect of the charm spell?
On a failure, the target's attitude becomes friendly towards you. If it was friendly, it becomes helpful. It can't use hostile actions against you.
Okay. So with the friendly, I've got a thing here that breaks that off. I just try to figure out how friendly this is gonna helpful. Okay. Okay. He, as you're beginning to stand up, I think he stops for a second as you make your comment, and his smile sort of drops for a second and then returns, and whereas before was kind of like this smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes and just this kind of very clear mask, this time it seems a bit more genuine. He says, "Hold on one second. Apologize. Perhaps we got off on the wrong foot. We're very distrustful of outsiders around here, but if you have business that you're looking to do, I might be able to put you in contact with somebody who would be interested."
Oh, that's so wonderful. I'm glad you understand our...
You see the other two, Ellie and Florence. They're sitting next to him. Kind of, Ellie says, "Manos, are you sure?" And he says, "Yes. It's fine. I have a good feeling about this. All right then. I can put you in contact with somebody who can make the proper arrangements then. Where might you be staying? I'm afraid I won't be able to reach them tonight."
Oh, that's fine. Well, we haven't decided yet. Do you know of a good place in town?
Well, here for one. Room and company if you pay for it.
Oh, lovely. Then we'll stay here.
Excellent. Well, we'll find you here tomorrow morning then. How about that?
I appreciate that. And for your trouble, and she'll slide along a gold to his hand if his hand is on the table and kind of slide it under there, because apparently we're not supposed to have them out.
He looks at the gold piece and just surreptitiously kind of it just sort of disappears from his hand. And he says,
"Excellent. Well, pleasure doing business with you then. Zari, was it? Correct?
Thank you very much, Manos. And to the rest of you, if you wish another drink, you could join us at our table, or if you're busy for the night, we understand."
The two of them look to each other and they don't really react to your roll. They just keep looking at Manos and see if his angle might be here. But he just Manos speaks, says, "We may take you up on that. But for now, have a pleasant rest of your evening."
Wonderful. You as well. And then she'll get up and give a slight bow and start walking back to the table, her head held high.
Does this spell have anything when it ends, or does it just?
It doesn't say anything about it. I'll post it, but I don't.
Yeah,
I also
go ahead and
don't
post it.
Hold
Uh,
Oh, I don't. I
Okay.
didn't change the. Hold on, it's not acid attack.
Okay, yeah, it says when the spell ends, the target doesn't necessarily realize it was charmed unless its friendship with you or the actions you convince it to take clash with its expectations. So yeah,
depends.
so you don't necessarily. We'll see how that plays out, but it's not like a D&D thing where he just automatically turns hostile towards you.
Yeah.
Which makes this a lot more useful. The three of you return to your table. Simon, you see them walk back. You see the drow kind of sit back and begin to converse with themselves once again.
Still gonna go start making the rounds, do a bit of proselytizing, a bit of trying to hop into card games.
Why don't you make me? We'll just do a general. I think diplomacy probably works unless you have something that's better
Yeah,
for.
I don't know that I would lean too hard on the proselytizing, but there's definitely going to be like a, have you heard the good word of Kid and Kylene? He likes to party. But
I'd say you can either do. I'd say for you could either do religion or you could do diplomacy.
okay, I'm gonna do religion because that's 6 more.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
only an 11.
Okay. They don't seem responsive to it. You get kind of shoot away from a couple of tables, and you don't kind of get the idea that many of them are very interested in religion.
Just real quick, if I could catch Simon's eye, like Samek like nods over to their table and just like puts like waves a hand underneath his neck, like no, don't go for them.
Someone probably understands, but I'll just shoot you a quick message and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And then you can reply in actual words. Yep. And then after I finish making like a circuit of the room, I will come over, but I'm not going to go to the drowse table at this point.
Okay.
Seeing the three leave, I would look at Crow and we would both visibly just sigh of relief.
I'll walk back to the table and just sit down. What?
A bold move.
Well, I don't like being dismissed.
And I'm assuming it wasn't just the sweet tone in your voice that convinced him.
Oh, I'm a very nice person.
I don't doubt it.
Well, it was either that or something to do with blood magic. I don't know. She says under her breath, but only so that she can hear.
Now, wait a second.
I thought
can I do a perception to see if I heard her mention blood magic? Because I never paid attention to how my father had powers, so...
I have a question related to this.
Okay.
I'm a whisper elf. My ears are finely tuned, able to detect even the slightest whispers of sound. It's something where I can... Oh, it's about finding undetected creatures, but... Maybe...
Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe
oblivious.
I can hear it.
You can
Since I'm
make a
sitting right next
perception
to my
check.
best
I'll have it be a lower DC.
Where's the button? Oh, I keep getting thrown off by the sheet. 14? Boing.
If you were standing right next to her, I think a 14 is with your.
I'm not gonna
super
shout
elf
across the
hearing.
bar, "Hey, good magic, Zari, way to go!"
Yeah.
You might have, just because it contributes to a fiction that I'm really interested in seeing play out. I'm gonna say yes, you do. hear
What, which
this.
is me just stalking this person I don't know?
Yes.
We're gonna be best friends.
We're best friends.
We're best.
Whether you like it or not.
Just you wait.
I can make you my best friend.
Apparently.
Yeah, Zari sits back down and drinks her, like, she picks up her cup to take a drink and then she like looks at it and then she takes a handkerchief out of her pocket and just starts cleaning the top of the glass and then drinks out.
Inconspicuous.
So
Well, we can stay here tonight. They said there's an inn upstairs, although I don't know how well of sleep we're going to get with all the patrons canoodling.
They dismissed you and still have their arms and hands like that.
Well, I know that in situations such as a bar, it's not the best to start a fight, especially if you don't know how many companions they have.
Yeah, but you made 3 tutors quit when they dismissed you because the lesson was over.
He apologized.
Yes, but I had dominion over them, and I could bite them if I chose to.
Sorry, did you say bite? Are you in the habit of biting your servants?
Wait, I'm
I
sorry.
want
Did
to
you
point
say
out a scar
dominion?
I have.
I'm sorry, did you just call teachers servants?
They were.
Oh, yeah, they were, but still.
King nobles.
I was a child, mostly. Anyways,
You were 16.
Every time I have a conversation with either of you, I'm left with more questions than answers.
So are
that's
we all
fun.
bunking up in the same room, or what? Boys, girls?
Oh, I'm not. Yes, boys, girls, please.
It doesn't matter to me.
I'm gonna stand, make my way back to the mistress of the bar,
Yeah. Manager.
manager. That's the word.
So you go back up to Brass, who's still tending bar. I think has seen this exchange and probably has been watching as you walked over, and then walked back with your liver still intact, and sees as you approach them. It says,
Thank you for not. How can I help you?
2 rooms.
2 rooms. All right. Just the rooms.
I don't know if the others want company in their rooms. They'll pay for their own.
All right. For the 2 rooms, it'll be 8 silver for the evening.
Thank God. Okay. I'll pop that down.
For the company, that's extra.
You just muted yourself when you replied.
Yeah, I have mute on my numpad 0, and I use that to input numbers. So I'll think about that.
Wait, if we're all sharing the room, no company.
No, I would get my own room to have my company over.
It's like it's Simon and Xandria. It's like, what's happening? There's a sock on the door handle.
Yeah, they're just sitting out in the hallway, just like while you get up to get ice in the middle of the night.
They're better than
man.
my college roommates.
Oh.
Ew.
So
Sounds like someone's in pain.
It's fine. It's fine. Anais, if you want to partake in anything, I can wait down here.
Ah.
Or I could avert. I don't. Depending on how late it is.
Is that the type of person I seem like to you?
I do not want to judge. I don't know you that well, and we have been on a boat for a little while, and again, whatever floats your skyboat.
Well, I'm glad you deem me capable of fun, but I imagine it's best if we just get as good a night's sleep as we can.
Wonderful, thank you.
I'm sure I can find pleasurable company elsewhere.
Wonderful. Is it late?
right now it's starting to get kind of late. Yeah, I mean probably near the middle of the night, getting close to it.
Well, if you're going to stay for another drink, I think I'll pop upstairs and go to bed.
Okay.
Wonderful. I will go upstairs with the key to the room, probably, and do my nighttime stuff, and probably read until she comes upstairs.
Did you bring your chalice?
I did.
You go up and there's like a satanic ritual going on.
Satan's not my patron.
There's a black sock on the door for occult rituals. Do you have anything, any specific offerings that you're going to be making as part of your nightly rituals, or just the usual?
I would say it's a personal sacrifice as far as the ritual goes, and I will ask for like a general not guidance, but guidance in the sense that to help us get to our end goal. Like, bless this journey sort of thing.
Bless this mess.
Yes, bless this mess, please.
Okay. You go to sit down. I'm going to change the music here for just 1 second because it's a little too peppy for blood sacrifice. You sit down and you spread out your ritual circle, and I don't know if there's like incense or anything involved. But you take your chalice. Oh, there you go. Place it on the floor in front of you and draw blood, letting it slowly kind of stream down into the chalice. And as it fills, it kind of grows still in the whole room around you, where you've heard kind of the canoodling in the rooms around you up until this point. Everything just kind of goes quiet. And the light in the room seems to go darker, and it's just that the candle in front of you on the other side of the chalice. And you hear a familiar voice as the ground almost seems to shake, and like there's this like tremor that echoes out from the chalice, and this like reverberation that carries the sound with it. And you hear,
My child.
Hello.
I see. I see you have been remaining faithful in your pursuit we discussed.
Of course, my master.
Your companions are interesting. I wish for you to investigate them further.
What do you wish to know?
Some among them have motivations counter to my plans.
I see.
If you are to succeed in this endeavor, we will need to mitigate complications.
Of course. I shall do as you wish.
This person you seek I see more blood. Heed the offer they make you carefully. There may be ways to twist it to our advantage.
Of course.
And the candle flickers once again, and you just hear the last words, kind of like the fading of this rumbling disappears, and says,
Sleep well.
and the candle snuffs out.
Good night, my lord. And then she'll put her things away and then flop on her bed like a teenage girl who just got a phone call from her crush.
The rest of you downstairs doing your things. We'll get back to anything else you want to do, as you are none the wiser to the dark dealings occurring one floor above you. But this is a good time to take our break. So those of you out there in the chat, we will be back shortly for to continue the rest of our session here today. So stay tuned, hang out, and we will see you soon. Hey, welcome back, Internet. I meant to start the music before we got going. Let me go ahead and hit that button again. Thanks for hanging out with us on our break. We're just here talking to dark overlords and almost getting in bar fights. I'm just gonna plow on ahead. We're gonna continue with our game. So thanks for hanging out. Was there anything else anybody wanted to do in the bar before turning in for the night?
I just would have headed out of East Crow when they went, so at least something's watching over my sister, because dangerous drow, she can't get into trouble most likely.
Okay. I'll let him sit on my arm.
Okay. So, Zari, Anais, and Crow in one room, Simon, Xander, and Samek in the other. And the rooms are nice. Again, you get the impression they look cleaner than they are. Just these big, plush, like king-sized beds that pretty much take up like most of the room. Most of the room is just bed. And a lot of like drapery and silks and stuff on the wall to try to muffle as much of the noise as possible. Some of it still carries through the walls. They don't seem that thick. But you guys are able to get a decent night's rest in this less than reputable establishment. You wake one way or another in the morning. There's not any there aren't any windows in these rooms, so there's no light coming in that would typically wake you, but most of you rouse at some point. You believe it to be morning. Anybody's morning rituals?
Wrapping up hands. That's about it.
There's a brief prayer that is finished by taking a shot.
If
I'm
And you
gonna
just
do
yell,
that tomorrow.
tequila.
if Samek sees Simon doing this, he'll like motion for a shot.
Pours
Wait,
you a
is your
little
god
bit more.
I was gonna say, is your god LMFAO?
No, but I mean, one of my edicts is to drink.
There you go.
So
Yep,
That's
so
how you
you're-
pronounce it.
Okay, so you all rouse. Anais and Zari, as you wake and begin to kind of get your things together, you do notice there is a slip of paper that has made its way under your door.
Oh, would you mind grabbing that? I was just going to put on my robe.
Snatch.
Okay. You open it up. It's just a black can and it says, "We know."
Damn.
No,
Not again.
it doesn't.
What?
That's 2 Skyrim references in 2 days. No.
It is.
I'm gonna go for the hat trick next Saturday. No, you open it up and it just has a very crude sort of drawing on it, and looks like a couple of like intersections. It kind of looks like a map with just an X in on one of the cross streets, and then written in a scratchy handwriting at the top. It says, "Law's Grave, noon."
Law's grave or loss?
Law, LAW, apostrophe S.
I'm gonna turn the paper around and show Zari and say, X marks the spot.
Wonderful. Would you like me to braid your hair today?
Sure. Why not?
Would you like 1 or 2?
Just one.
Perfect. I'm gonna French braid it down the back. It's
Oh.
adequate.
Crow
not gonna say it.
size.
What?
Crow size.
Oh, he sighs. Okay.
Because he wants his hair braided too.
Obviously.
And doesn't have any.
He doesn't have hair. It's not fair.
It takes a
Ah.
minute. Her hair's very long.
Solid.
Yeah, I don't imagine Zari did much of her own hair growing up.
No, but I had. No, it's fine.
Xander.
I probably braided Xander's hair quite a few times.
There
That's
you
why
go.
I have shortish hair now. Can't do anything to it.
So you have this map, a location, and a time. You all get your things together, and you meet down in the common area, in the tent, which doesn't seem. If it seemed nice to you the night before, does not seem as nice in the light of day. If you've ever been to a bar during the daytime, yeah, it's like that, but probably worse. That was a really good description on my part. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that. But you guys meet downstairs.
Did you all have a lovely night? Sleep well?
Yes, the bed was quite comfortable. These two
Yeah.
did not seem to want to use
Oh,
it.
I wanted to say Samek was on the bed and with Simon.
I was on the floor.
Yeah.
It seemed cleaner.
You're
Yes.
probably right.
I suppose there are points for that, yes.
You should probably do a disease check. Just
I mean, I can check your others if you want me to, but we should probably go back up to the room to do that first.
We have an appointment at noon.
Oh,
Lovely.
do we even know what time it is, considering there's no light anywhere in this?
Now that you're downstairs, that you can't see the sunlight. It's early to mid morning. Got a couple hours.
Is this where we get breakfast?
Is Brass at the bar?
Yeah, let's say sure. I think they're doing some more cleaning and some accounting probably at the bar. There are a couple servers. I think there are probably a couple of sailors still in here having a morning drink. And some patrons still canoodling.
You do breakfast here, or do we have to go out for that?
She says, we haven't had a cook employed for some time now, so you'll probably have to scrounge somewhere else.
Unfortunate. Lovely establishment you have. So
Thank you.
Turn and walk out the door.
Follow.
Food
Okay.
time.
You find the morning light greets you. I think there are probably still a bunch of drunk sailors sleeping on street corners. Again, the romance of pirate life really only thrives in the nighttime. It smells just as bad and probably worse because it's warm out now.
This is a
The sooner
fun
we get
place.
out of here.
Breathe it in, Zari. Breathe it in.
Does anyone have smelling salts or something? Perfume?
I actually do this morning, and I will prestidigitate just like the smell of flowers right in Zari's nose.
Simon, you are a saint.
No, that is my god, but thank you anyway.
So, food.
Food.
Start looking around. Are there restaurants here? Like a Margaritaville or something?
yeah. There's a Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville just down in the corner. You get some coconut shrimp and
Shrimp in the morning.
We're on holidays.
there are not any. It's not a lot of food to speak of. There are some vendors and places you could go to, like, get some food from.
You know what I'm
but
about to say?
Do we know what it is?
Street meat.
Street meat.
Street meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know what it is? What it was?
You don't ask questions.
It's indecipherable.
I'm sorry, I can't eat anything I don't know what it is.
It's
Meat.
chicken.
Are you certain of that? Or are you
Positive.
guessing?
I can make it taste like chicken.
Everything tastes like chicken anyway.
You know, I'm just going to eat some dried fruits for breakfast, thanks.
You're lost. Can I get a gold piece worth of whatever meat this is?
Sure. There is there is okay. So you go to this vendor on the corner, and I think they are selling they're just outside of what smells or looks vaguely like a bakery of some sort. And they have a cart with some less than fresh looking like skewers on it. And this ratty looking dwarven fellow, as you walk over and you hand a gold to him, just says,
How much can this get me?
just gestures to the whole arrangement and says, "You can have whatever you want. I'm closing up for the day," and just like sticks it in his
But
pocket
it's
and
morning.
walks away. He walks
But,
away.
Am
We're
I a
not supposed to-
franchisee now? What?
I think you just bought his cart.
I don't think we're supposed to give out gold, Zandy. We should
What
get
are we meant
changed
to do?
somewhere.
I've only got one set of clothes on me. How can I get changed?
Change. As in different coin. Gosh, your accent has changed so much, you can't even understand me.
The others, aren't the nobles supposed to kind of be in charge of the economy? Are we all fucked?
Pretty sure we're fucked.
We're definitely fucked.
Fucking nobles.
Well, if anything, we probably need a reputation as people with money to spend, and we won't be here that long anyway. And I pick up some of the food and try it. Is it bad?
It lacks flavor.
Oh, well, that's not the worst thing you could have said.
It tastes like it was probably cooked a couple of days ago.
I will
Yeah,
press
it's like
digitate
jerky.
people's food as needed to
Okay.
taste.
I'm going to be the most successful whatever type of cart this is in this town.
Oh no.
This cart's coming back onto the ship with us. Just-
See, if the two of you ran it together, Xander has the money, obviously, to start a small business. And Simon, as long as people eat near you, apparently, you can make things taste amazing. This
we
is
could use
an
this-
incredible business venture.
Yes, let's
We
give
can-
up our lives of piratehood and do no.
Oh, please, you don't have to be
use this
present
as
to
a
run a business, sorry.
Guys.
Well, I would need to be present.
Well, you would, but
Yeah. You could use
don't know,
this
you
to
can-
preach. And
Yeah.
be like,
pass out pamphlets with the food.
oh.
Disguise the pamphlets as menu. You know.
They have to take a pamphlet to get the extra flavor.
There's only one issue. I
Only
have
one.
a limited stock left. When that's gone, does it just refill itself?
No.
No.
What do you
It's a-
mean?
This is not like the larders in your estate, mansion, wherever you live, where servants refill it. It is not magic. Unless, do you have magic larders that refill themselves? without
Simon,
the
I've
need of
stumbled upon a
servants?
second business venture.
I have a casket at home that refills itself.
With what?
Wine.
Do you mean a cask?
Oh yeah, sorry. That wasn't me. That wasn't a sorry.
This
that
is
wasn't
2
me.
episodes in a row now.
Oh.
I thought you were doing a bit.
No.
With bodies of murder.
Yes, casket. And we all look very concerned for a moment.
There's a bakery next to this meat stand, right?
Yeah, right. That's what I was gonna say.
Wonder how much that
Fresh
costs to
things?
buy.
No.
Listen, we
Zandy.
have 8 more sessions of this game, and I do not plan on the street vendor
Taking
becoming
so long.
a central point of it. No, continue. I'm enjoying this.
Just buy some bread for everyone.
Mhm.
Is there just a normal shop where we can try to find crafting material and a healer's kit?
Oh yes.
I'm not holding my breath for the healer's kit.
So there is a. I think you walk around the city, but you got a couple hours to kill. So you see, you kind of come across a few more areas of the city, and you do come across something that had been pointed out on the street sign previously. Steel Runners Transport, which is kind of towards like the middle tier of the city, and it's a newer looking business. It actually looks presentable based on everything else that you've seen here. The sign looks new. Everything it looks like they've just recently kind of taken up shop here. But it appears to be a supply and goods shop. So
I'm
you
pushing this
potentially-
food cart to just so everyone knows this food cart's coming with us. I bought it. It's mine. I'm going to trade it.
The wheel breaks.
Still
Sandy.
going to try and push it.
Zandy,
We know you can't change a tire.
leave it behind.
And I did not prepare mending this morning, so you're out of luck.
Never let me keep anything I buy.
I let you keep the bird.
It's a dragon.
It's a
gonna walk
small
away.
dragon.
Oh, before I forget, I hand Samek a couple of silver
What's this for?
for the room.
I was just
You have
gonna
to pay for that?
Yes, it's a service.
Yeah, Simon would have given him 2 silver as well last night.
Okay.
I was
That
just
was
gonna
not-
get reimbursed by the captain. That's fine.
I don't like to owe anyone.
Do we have a plan when we go speak to this gentleman? Do we know what we're going to do?
Question
I mean,
about
I
the
was-
black.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
If he knows about the fabled treasure.
No, if he knows about the last whereabouts of the captain. Drake?
No,
Crimson
thought we were
Drake.
gonna ask him about the black kestrel too. Last known location of it.
And what are we going to offer him in return?
I don't
Well, I
see-
did have a food cart.
I mean, money?
Could invest. Did you say meat or me?
Money.
Oh.
Coin.
I don't know how much that would be worth to him.
I think we can cover it. You could ask father.
Well, of course we could, but we don't have it here. What can we give him now? He trades in information, yes?
Do we have any information he would want?
Something tells me, I don't know how well this would pan out. I mean, they certainly won't just let us go, but they know we're looking for the Black Kestrel and Crimson Drake. I imagine they will send people to follow us, try and jump the gun. Are there guns in this world, or is it only like crossbows and stuff?
Jump the crossbow.
We're
Jump the
going
shark.
crossbows. Yeah.
Are there
Jump-
sharks in this world? We're up in the sky.
Sky shark.
Guy sharks. Yeah.
I guess so we're
I-
flying lobster crab things.
I'm distressed at how quickly 2 of you just said sky sharks.
But yes, they will send someone, see if they can beat us to the punch at getting, at recovering whatever it is we're after. So we at least need to have an idea of what to offer now, but be ready for them to come after us.
What if we suggest that we allow 2 of his members to come on board with us?
And
Would your
push them on.
captain agree to that?
Would
I
she?
don't know.
Technically, we paid for this.
She looks at Xander like, no, you didn't. You did nothing.
What do you think, Samek? I mean, she seems to want this information quite badly, based on some of the folk she has hired and allowed on this journey.
Honestly, if push comes to shove and we get 2 new people that are not part of her crew, we can always dump them off when we leave port.
True.
Should we go get the captain and bring her to this meeting? She has most of the information, after all.
Are we even meeting with this guy, first off?
We don't know. We have a location
Like, this could
and
just
a
be a
time.
trap and we get killed.
Oh, it definitely could. Trust me, I'm watching.
I have a feeling that everything will work out in our favor.
But I imagine if the captain wanted to come, she would have just done it herself.
What time is it?
We'll say you guys got about an hour.
Did I find my crafting kit?
You're standing outside of the store you can buy it in right now.
Yeah, I walk in. Is it?
Okay, we won't belabor that too much. There's
It's
a
Tell me the price if it's there, and I'll.
Dwarven man named Verge owns the company, and he would tell you that he needs to open up the PDF.
I don't understand this shop talk.
Yeah. Which one are you looking for? What are you looking for right now?
With either a crafting kit or a healer's kit.
All right. Healer's tools.
That one.
5 gold pieces.
Which I will remind you, I already have a set of those.
Yeah, and you're looking for, I guess, artisan's tools.
Yep, that'll be.
probably. Yeah, that seems to be. That's also. That one says 4 gold pieces.
I'll buy that one.
Okay.
And
You
I'll
give him the
hand
money,
that
he gives you the
to-
goods. Commerce.
And an ace, and be like, "Here's a present."
Oh. Thank you.
In exchange for armor, right?
I'd be glad to help.
Yes. Chris, come get stronger. Let's get this over with so we can get my armor for my bird dragon. Let's go, team. Where is this place?
Yes, we should scout it out ahead of time, and if we have time,
Is there a tall building I would like to climb?
yes, scout out the meeting location ahead of time. But if we have extra time, maybe investigate that other signpost direction.
Well, I don't think we have time now for that. Want to be punctual? Perhaps a little early?
I'll go ahead.
Who can read the map?
Aren't you supposed to be good at tracking things?
Yeah. Things don't drop a map and be like, "I'm here."
Is it orienteering part of being a ranger?
If that's what you call it, then yes.
Starting to think that Xander's the worst ranger.
Shh.
I can
It's-
go ahead and stay out of sight.
it's-
Stay close.
All right, if things get rough, we'll fight our way out.
Hopefully, we do not turn the entire town against us. I do not know if everyone here pays fealty tribute to the spiders, but I think we should err on the side of all the pirates turning against us. So I'll try to avoid fight, as the captain said.
Of course.
Yeah. We'll just avoid alleys and we're good.
That's not how it works, but all right.
That's what was said to us.
I'm gonna go a little bit ahead of everybody.
Yeah, that's a good point. You make a stealth check. So with the map and your general level of competence that the group possesses, you.
Thank
Let me know what you get on your stealth check.
17. Garbage.
It's not too bad.
I have a plus 10.
Yeah. But you kind of slink off, staying near the group, but far enough away to be out of sight. You're given the direction, knowing of the direction of Law's grave, and the map that you have. You kind of meander around the city a bit, maybe get some directions from people that look like they're local. Many of them, at the mention of Law's grave, just kind of walk the other direction, not really wanting to. They seem to be kind of turned off by the request. You don't know if it's the location or just 4 strangers approaching them, but eventually someone does point you to the lower tiers of the city, where you see more signs with the wording scratched out, no longer visible, and it seems that these signs lead you in the direction of this region. As you reach these lower recesses, the buildings become more and more derelict. You see fewer and fewer people walking around. It seems like it does not seem like a place that you would want to be after dark. Eventually, though, you come around a corner following the directions, and you begin to kind of match up the map you're given with a section of this city, and you can see there is a kind of an outcropping to this pedestal, or to this spire, that seems kind of sectioned off from the rest of the city that you can see from your vantage point looking down on it. And there is a large, like, manor house, like a noble estate almost, that sits at the lower reaches of the city, kind of just above the rolling fog. You can see some grounds that were once kept, though any vegetation is long dead from lack of proper maintenance. And it just looks run down from as close as you get. However, this map leads you to a building near this manor house, but not quite to it. And standing outside of this building, as you approach, you see the 3 individuals that you met previously: Manos, Florence, and Ellie. Manos looks a bit hungover, but has the same smile on their face. The other 2 kind of hanging back, scowling a bit, and you seem alone on this street for the most part, other than these 3 people. How do you approach anything you guys are doing? You just walking right up?
Can I have Crow fly up high just to see if there's anyone else lurking?
Make a perception check for Crow.
Crow's gonna bust out the 12.
Okay, I'll let you know if he sees anyone. I assume he'll squawk or growl or something. Ennis, you are nearby. Have managed to make your way in the shadows the best you can, staying near the group, and keeping tabs on them. But you walk up, and Manos says,
Good morning to all of you.
Oh, darling, you look a little ill. Are you all right?
Was a long night. I'm glad to see you all doing well. And you arrived on time. So, you're looking to make this deal. I can take you inside. However, you'll need to leave your weapons at the door.
She kind of reveals, like she opens her arms like she doesn't have any weapons.
Looks over all of you. Unless you wish to wait outside, you're perfectly welcome to do that as well.
So Simon does have a rapier that he carries, but it's the weapon of his deity, and so I think he would say, pull out the holy symbol. I am a holy man, and this, I am religiously bound to bear this weapon. I will put it in the sheath. I need it close at hand, but I will put it in the most awkward position possible, if that would appease you, so that I cannot draw it.
Ellie walks up to you, looks it over, and I think she just holds out a hand and says,
I can keep it safe for you. It'll be inside. I'll be very close.
What is the perceive intent or something? I want to make sure she's not just gonna run off with
sense
it.
motive.
Yeah.
I don't know what the check is for it. I think it's...
Okay, it looks like page 471, perception check against their deception DC.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll.
That's a 19.
19? Okay. That succeeds. So you kind of look her up and down, kind of look at the half smile on her face, and you get the impression that if things go wrong, that she's not going to give it back to you. But it does seem like they are willing to accommodate up to a point for your specific requests. And this is them extending some amount of hospitality.
Okay, I think I will hand it over, but say, just note that if you misuse the weapon or otherwise desecrate it, Kid and Kylene will visit upon you a most unpleasant box. One that would make you quite unpopular with the ladies or the men. Both, perhaps. Just saying. As I hand it over. And I am completely lying about this, but kind of just trying to make her less likely to keep a
Make a
hold of
deception
it.
check.
17?
Okay. She she looks at it as you hand it to her, and you can see kind of like holds it very lightly and very delicately and says,
I'll keep that in mind.
and she sticks it very gingerly in her pocket.
Samek is going to unbuckle his sword, hand it to whomever takes it, takes out the javelins, hands it on there, goes down to a boot, pulls out a dagger, puts it on top.
Florence takes the weapons from you and everyone else who hands over. Is anyone trying to conceal anything?
I've got 2 guns.
Well,
I was going to stay outside.
You're going to stay outside?
I do have a sling and some caltrops, but I'm wondering if would those register? Like if a sling just looks like a strip of leather almost.
If it's just the sling and you don't have like
I mean, there would
like
be
a pouch of
there would be a pouch with the ammo for it as well.
I think they will try to take that from you if you don't conceal it.
Yeah, I'll hand over the sling with no issue.
Okay.
I
Tucked in
do.
your back pocket, like Dennis the Menace.
I will take out my dagger, but I'll give it to Xander
Okay, since he's
since
staying
he's
outside.
staying outside. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. you hand your things over to either Xander or Florence, who is staying out here with Xander. Anais, I have a question for you. Are you going to reveal yourself? Are you going to stay out here? Or are you going to try to sneak inside? Essentially, what you're looking at is a large manor house. This gate that surrounds it. There's like a walkway. It's like 40 or 50 feet up to the house exterior itself, and they're beginning to lead them towards the gate, looking like they're heading into the manor house.
I'm going to try to sneak in, like
Okay.
around the side or something. This is a bad idea. I'm gonna do it anyway.
All right. So we'll the rest of you that are being let in, which sounds like Samek, Simon, and Zari, are being led in by Ellie and Manos. I forgot his name. And Ace, you kind of come darting around to the side up to the fence, like on one corner of the estate. There are some obstructions, some dead trees and bushes and things like that are might provide some cover. It is noon, so it's going to be difficult, but I'm going to have you make an acrobatics check to try to scale the fence.
Okay.
Quietly.
Just seeing if I had anything for this. I have something for if I fall off the fence.
Okay, good.
God, F me today. 12.
12.
Again,
okay.
I'm so good at these things.
You come running up to the gate and you try to slip through, but I think your some buckles on your armor kind of get caught on the metal, make a scraping noise. You those of you that are currently with the three drow watch as the three of them quickly kind of their heads turn that direction, seemingly alerted to some sort of noise further away. Anything anybody wants to do in response to that before they go
Can
to
I
investigate?
try and signal Crow to just screech randomly? Screech, make a noise, bud. Do something.
Do you have to issue? It seems you don't have a telepathic bond with.
No, I'm assuming being a hunter, I would have hand signals.
Okay, and you are staying outside, so you just like.
I think it'd be a little bit more subtle than.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Is that thievery or stealth?
Probably stealth.
Oh, thank God.
Sleight
24.
of hand
Hell
was
yeah.
the thing. 24. Okay, you find a moment to.
Is that a critical
quietly
success?
No, it is not.
Oh.
You find a second to make the motion where Florence won't see you, and there's a screeching noise as Crow swoops down low, kind of covering for probably like moves through some of the branches of the trees near where you're at, Anais, and then flies off, and you see Manos and Ellie. They were reaching towards Manos reaching for a dagger and Ellie reaching towards a short sword on her belt, and they seem tense, but they do kind of relax for a moment. Your stealth score enough to your stealth roll from before enough to kind of get you out of sight, if they're not going to investigate. So they continue to move towards the exterior of the manor, up to the front doors, and lead the three of you inside the building. It is long since abandoned in here. You can see the remnants of of the noble bearing and the purpose that this house once held. It probably has a little bit of similarity, Zari, to your own home that you grew up in, maybe like a summer home, a smaller home, that you might have spent some time in, just in severe disrepair. There are a few other drow that are currently skulking around in the building, sitting in kind of side rooms, talking to each other. You can see there are the remnants of a large group of people that probably make this place their base of operations. Though there are only a few of them here right now. Manos leads the three of you through this open front room to a set of stairs along the back, which lead up to the second floor, and down a hallway to a room at the end. Anais, outside, you reach the exterior of the building. Are you going to try to sneak inside, or what would you like to do?
Yeah, I want to creep around and peek through windows or something. I want to get inside and snoop around a little bit.
Okay. You look through the windows and you can see the couple of drow in there watching as Manos and your friends are led up to a second floor. You can see through these big front windows here, and you can see them being led further into the building. As you creep around to the back, you come to what was probably once a kitchen area. The window seems to be unlocked, and you can probably creep inside, which you can do easy enough. And as you gently set yourself down in this kitchen, you can hear the movement and creaking of people walking along the floorboards upstairs. But you're inside the building. You're just gonna kind of creep around while they're going, or you're trying to specifically make it to where your friends are?
At first I think I just want to creep around a little bit and see what I can see.
Okay.
And then I'll start to make my way up, looking out for traps.
Okay.
This is a thing
make
I'm
a
good at.
Make a perception check to look for traps.
I get something. Hold, please. A +1 bonus.
Okay.
It says, even if you aren't searching, you get a check to find traps that normally require you to be searching, blah, blah, blah. In other
Okay.
words. 16. I cannot roll above a 10.
Okay.
Yay.
You begin to skulk around. We'll get back to that. What I'm going to have, what we're going to do is have to see how things shake out upstairs. You're led to the end of the hall where Manos knocks on a door and you hear a voice from inside says, "Come in." And he motions for you to wait for a moment with Ellie and heads into the room, closing the door behind him. There's some muffled conversation on the other side of the door for a few moments, and then the door opens once again, and Manos swings it open wide and gestures for you to enter. As you enter this room, you can see it has the appearance of once being a study. Presumably for whoever held this office, whoever noble had this place, this building, this home constructed for them. You see bookshelves, a desk. However, much of it has been cleared away. And instead, you see stacks of supplies. There's a few crates stacked up in the corner, maps strewn about the walls, tacked to the peeling away, or the walls that have the wallpaper long since sort of peeled away on them, exposing the bare boards underneath. And across the room, standing at the edge of, or just at the precipice where the room leads out to a balcony, on the other side of a desk, you see a woman, a drow, much like the others. Looks a bit older. You can tell through though with that sort of ageless elven appearance, has some lines on her face indicating a more maturity than some of the others. And she has a number of scars running down her left arm, which she is currently holding a book in. Her sort of dark purplish, almost black eyes staring out at you, sort of surveying each of you in turn. As Manos steps to the edge of the room, introduces you by saying, I'm sorry for the interruption, sir, but we have, well, these were I'm not sure exactly what they do. The traders, the business proposition that I had spoken to you of last night. I'll let them make their introductions. And the woman nods and turns towards the three of you.
Question.
Mhm.
One, is it uncommon for drow to be around? Does
No.
it seem okay? And
I think most of them do live in subterranean environments, and
Mhm.
you're used to them living they don't typically integrate as much in society. They're very kind of exclusionary in their own cultures, but there are some drow that have integrated, clans of them that have sort of exiled or left their homelands and have integrated with Vathan society. So you've seen drow before. They're not common, but they're not unheard of.
Okay. And what book is she reading?
The book she currently has in her hand, I think. I don't think it has like a text on it. I think it looks more like a ledger or something that she has
Okay.
probably written in.
Okay. Good day? Would it be good day because it's midday? Good day. My name is Zari. These are my companions. She turns to them to see if they want to give their names.
Good day, my name is Simon.
Good day. My name's Samek.
A smile crosses her lips and she says, "It's so rare that I get this sort of formal greeting around here, but good day as well. My name is Istus."
Pleasure to meet you, and thank you for getting us in so promptly. I'm sure you're quite busy.
My associate was rather keen on it. They seemed quite enamored with you at the time.
Oh. Were they? She doesn't say that, sorry. Oh, wonderful.
But you went to such great lengths to arrange this meeting. I suppose you probably have some business of great importance.
Yes, we are on quite the venture. We're in search of something that is quite rare and something that has been lost. And we were told that you might have some knowledge as far as where it could be.
Well, that's sufficiently vague. Perhaps I might. Depends on the object.
Well, there is a quite well-known story about a ship that had quite a bit of treasure on it. I believe it was called the Black Kestrel.
She smiles and nods. She says, "Yes, most in this port have heard the legends of the Black Kestrel. I myself had dealings with Captain Drake a few times."
Well, we're interested in finding such a place or such a thing, and we wish to speak to you about the captain and perhaps give us a clue as to where he could have gone.
So a treasure hunt. That's what you're on.
I call it a mission.
She looks over to Manos, who sort of shifts uncomfortably and says, so I promise I did not know the dealing that was being proposed. And she holds up a hand and says, it's fine. You're not the only ones that are searching for the ship. I dare say there are dozens of others that scour the abyss looking for its fabled remains. Of course, those people don't have the information and the context that I do. So I might be able to provide you some insight. I myself having very little interest in this sort of business. But I would need something in return. Quid
Of
pro quo.
course. I don't know much of your dealings on this island, only that it is in secret, and she kind of looks around like, I don't know how to say this nicely. Other dealings.
Yes. Things around here aren't what they have always been. I'm afraid business has been waning as of late. But, as it so happens, I do have some business that I could perhaps use some aid in. You seeming like competent individuals yourselves. You came in on a rather impressive ship, so I'd imagine you'd have the ability to assist in this matter.
Well, depending on the mission, I'm sure that we can accommodate.
I'll get straight to it then. For the information you seek, I would like for you to eliminate a business rival of mine.
Wonderful. What does he look like?
That I don't know, which vexes me. You see, an insight into our dealings here. There are many mercenaries that find their way to our port for various jobs. Some of the cheapest and most effective of them being a rather ferocious clan of bugbears, I believe you refer to them in the Vathan tongue. They're relatively competent and compliant in most things for a few gold. As of late, they've become a bit more organized than I would like. I don't know who accomplished this feat, but they've been taking on jobs and killing the competition, some of which were in my employ.
I see.
I'd like you to find whoever is responsible for this misstep and ensure that it doesn't happen again.
Seems she looks to the others to see what their faces look like in this situation.
Simon is trying to keep a poker face, but is doing kind of the priestly smile that you see them often just always have as the default. It's like, well, I think we can certainly look into this and see if we can reach an agreeable outcome for all parties involved.
Samek shrugs. Raise a little hell, earn a little gold. That's fine by me.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Is there anything
You
you can
take
tell
a-
us about this creature? Where they are generally, where we should start?
I don't know anything about them. As I said, the unfortunate bit is in dealing with this clan is that I don't really have anyone I can send on the inside, anyone to pay off. They seem fiercely loyal to whoever this might be. So, I do know where they hole up. There's a cave on the far side of the spire. There's a path that leads out that way. It's not the safest. But the lumbersome creatures make it on a regular basis, so I can't imagine it's terribly difficult to navigate. Head out that way. You'll find them at the end of the path.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for your time and working with us in such an agreeable manner.
Excellent. Well, it's wonderful to do business with reasonable people such as yourselves. So, return with the job done, and I'll provide you with the information that you need.
And what proof do you wish to have that the job is completed? The head of... I feel if I bring you the head of someone, it will not be very helpful, since you do not know who they are.
I feel that the fruits of your labor will speak for themselves, and should you perhaps be less than forthcoming in your dealings, we will know. I know the name of your ship, and I know where you're heading. Or I will, once I provide you with this information. So, well, you can do the math.
Of course. I do not wish to break alliances so quickly.
Neither would I.
Well, thank you again. And she turns to Manos, and thank you for your help as well.
He gives a sort of nervous smile and a nod, kind of happy that this business arrangement went as well as it did once he learned what you really wanted, and says, I will lead you outside.
Small curtsy.
And he opens the door and begins to lead you out. Downstairs, rewind a bit. Make a yeah, just do a perception check. Anais,
Okay.
as you sort of searching the area. That's a natural one.
You've got your hero point.
Yeah,
You do.
I think I'm gonna do that.
Which you will lose in 4 minutes, so might as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Use it.
Let's try again. Man, Roll20 hates me today.
All right.
Okay, 22.
That's much better. Whew.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
could have gone bad.
Yeah.
You skulk around the house. I'll say this: you avoid the areas where you hear most of the conversation happening and looting around. You find a couple of things. You find a few like rooms, like bedrooms that look like they've been converted into storage. More crates that are still nailed shut. Some barrels that look like they have wine or some sort of ale in them. You find a small armory, some weapons and things like that hanging on the walls, mostly in good repair. There's some bunks with they've set up some sleeping rooms, like adding some more space for whoever stays here, the underlings to sleep in, with some personal chests and things at the base of them, or kind of stashed underneath. And you find one locked door, seems to lead down to a cellar. So you survey all this. I will give you the opportunity to investigate or pilfer from one of these things.
Boy, I gotta know what's downstairs. Can I try to pick the lock open?
You can. What is that, a thievery check?
Something. I have
Ledger domain?
I have these tools.
Yeah, go ahead and make a check with your thievery.
Jesus. 10.
10. You fiddle with the lock for a good bit. As much as you want to without making noise. I think that the hard part right now is that you're trying to make as little noise as possible. And this lock is a little rusted, and you're having a hard time getting it open. And it just won't budge.
Okay.
But you do know it's here now.
Do know it's here.
And I'm going to say, the time you spend, you've looked around, you've gotten a good lay of the area, and you begin to hear footsteps and conversation. It sounds like your companions are leaving the premises. So you can push on and try to investigate something else, but knowing that you're going to get left behind.
No, I think I have to leave.
Okay. So you skulk back out through the kitchen window.
Wait, can I pop into the armory?
Okay, what do you want from the armory?
Is there like a short sword or a dagger or something that they won't miss?
Whether or not they miss it will be up to you. There's plenty in here, though, a few dozen. So
Don't care.
Depends on how good of an inventory they keep.
Take snack.
Okay, what are you
Fine.
taking? A dagger or a short sword?
I'll take a short sword because that's what I have. Now I have two.
Okay. You snag a short sword.
Yay.
And it explodes. I'm just
Well.
kidding. No, you... Oh, and I forgot you made the thief. You checked for the traps earlier.
I did.
You do find... I'll say you noticed this on the door before you unlock it, but that door that was going down into the cellar, there is some sort of wire across the top. You were unlocking it, and then you would have had to deal with the wire after you unlocked it,
Sure.
but there is some sort of trapping mechanism you can see on that door as well.
I know what's in there.
So you do know that for future skulking.
Cool.
Okay?
Yay, that was a useless trip.
Well, you got a weapon out of it.
Yeah, probably could have just bought one of those.
You also, again, if it comes up, you know the layout of the house, you know where all this stuff is, so you can...
I'll be back.
Yeah. But you sneak out through the window, back along the garden path and out over the fence. The rest of you are led out to the front gate, where you reunite with Florence and Xander, and you're given your stuff back, and Mano says,
Well, I'm glad that this dealing is going to work out. Obviously, we request your discretion in all of this. If rumors start to spread and we encounter any sort of ill luck, well, we haven't done dealing with many people lately, so...
Understood. No, and I apologize if my words last night were not as you expected today. You seemed a little distressed, and I hope I didn't offend.
No, it seems like we got off on the wrong foot. But fate, or whatever might have it, you convinced me. Somehow.
Well, we should be off. We have someone to chat with.
All right.
can I help you?
I think as I get my rapier back and sling back from Florence, I will just mutter a brief nonsense prayer and be like, and there, there's nobody sanctified. I think you are safe.
She just looks at her hands and then back at you and kind of sticks them back in her pocket. Just gives you a very wary eye as you
Just
walk
wash
away.
them with alcohol. You will be fine. And take a drink too for good measure.
She's freaked out by you. Okay. You guys all with your mission and some planning to be done, decisions to be made. You head down the street to a safe distance where you can converse amongst yourselves. But given that it is 10 o'clock, we're gonna leave that for next time. You guys deciding what you want to do, how you want to approach this, and how this will all turn out. So thank you, players, for being here, and everyone out there for watching. I'm gonna put on some, go back to the tavern music. Thank you everyone out there for watching. We will be back in 2 weeks to pick this up, see where this goes next. I can't say this is how I thought this session was going to go. So it was a lot of fun.
Shenanigans, maybe?
Yeah, there were more food carts than I was expecting. Everything else, pretty much, but just the food carts. I got to rewrite my campaign now. But yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks to pick this up. Same time, same place. In the meantime, check us out on Wednesday for Tidefall, and then next Saturday for the premiere of Saturday night's Thunderball. Our schedule is Thunderball. Our schedule is below on our channel, somewhere down there beneath our faces. You can scroll down, look at that for times and places and all that good stuff. We do lots of games, D&D, Pathfinder, Monster of the Week,
Tales from the Loop.
Tales from the Loop.
Tales from the Loop. Yeah, we just started that. I've already forgotten. But yeah, I think that's about it. Does anybody else have anything that I've forgotten? Anything else?
I'm gonna stream some games tomorrow,
That's right.
so come play with me.
Do you know what
Yeah,
time?
and then
I have no idea, but I'll tweet about it.
and then sometime I think I do want to try. We just picked up that Witch It on the Lunar Sale, and we were playing that last night, and it was so much fun. I do want to stream that at some point because that is a wild game. So maybe sometime this week as well. But yeah, so join us throughout the week for our schedule, but we will see you here for this in 2 weeks. And until next time, good game and good night, Internet.
Good night,
Good
Internet.
night, Internet.